Booze hacks, you guys. It's time for some dessert and booze hacks. Hey guys, Kira here from 50 Shades of Mom, tips for all shades of mom life. And in today's video, I am back to share with you some dessert and booze hacks. Now, I did show up with a little tropical vibe. We couldn't leave this summer behind without incorporating just a little bit of some summer, but then I also have some great desserts to share with you. So I think I have 5 things to share, 3 desserts and 2 drinks, each one so different and so delicious in their own way. So I'm gonna take you down to the counter and we're gonna start hacking some dessert and booze. So this Food Hack Friday is actually featuring some bonus footage for you guys. This past weekend, I got a chance to go to Port Aransas for our annual girls trip, and I went with Vanessa Lemonade Mom and Nicole Burgess. I'll link them both down below, but I figured this was the perfect time to share some of the footage. We had a great time. We hung out, we ate good food, we went to the beach, we played games, and I didn't vlog per se. I caught a little bit of footage here and there. I did get a little bit of a tour of the house that we rented, that we stayed in, and a couple of clips here and there, but not enough to share an entire vlog. And one of our booze hacks, the last one that I'm going to share with you guys today, I actually made on this trip. So I figured what better time to include that footage that I took. I'll share with you guys the booze hack that I made in Port Aransas with the girls, and then I'll share with you guys at the end just a little bit of a bonus footage of the trip that we had, because I'm excited to share what I did take. But for now, we're going to get into our first recipe, you guys. So I mentioned to you guys that we weren't kicking summer exactly to the curb just yet, because these are September dessert and booze hacks, and part of September is still part of the summer. So we're going to include just a little bit of summer flair into this video, especially these, because strawberries are meant for that hype of the summer season. So this says, if you're looking for a luxurious dessert that doesn't feel like a cardinal sin to eat, this is it. Make these at the height of strawberry season, when strawberries are big, juicy, and at their peak of sweetness. And so we're going to make some cheesecake stuffed strawberries, you guys, and they are super simple. So you're literally going to need cream cheese, some powdered sugar. I'm using the Swerve kind. You're going to need some vanilla. You'll need some fresh strawberries, and then you'll need some graham crackers. That is it. And for starters, of course, we're going to go ahead and wash our fruit. Now, I cut this recipe in half. It called for a full pound of strawberries, but I wasn't exactly sure who was going to eat what. And really, we don't need all these sweets in the house all of the time. So I decided to cut this recipe in half. And our first step is to hull the strawberries. Now, I actually have this strawberry huller. It was given to me as a gift. And when we were going through the storage shed, it was one of the things I had pulled out to throw in my drawer, but I have never used it, you guys, and maybe I'm doing something wrong. I probably should have looked up a video or something on how to do it, but I've never hulled a strawberry. If I wanted to cut the center out, I use a paring knife, but it was sitting in my drawer, so I figured I would give it a try. And again, I'm not exactly sure if I was doing something wrong. It did remove the stem and give me a good hole down into the strawberry, but it wasn't enough to cut it so that I could take the actual whole stem out. So I ended up going back and using a spoon until I finally scooped out all the insides. And then now it's time to make our center. So I put half of that block of cream cheese into a bowl. I added a tablespoon and a half of powdered sugar, and then a tablespoon of vanilla. And then I just kind of mixed it together, and you're just going to whip it until it's as light and fluffy as possible, because you really want to make a really yummy cheesecake batter. And then once we're done and it's all whipped up and mixed and incorporated, we're just going to stick it inside of a sandwich bag. I just use a snack size. It's the only size that you really need. And you're just going to snip off the ends so that you can use it like a piping bag. And now that we've gone ahead and hulled all of our strawberries, we're just going to go back and fill them. So I just used all of it. I actually still had some left, so I probably could have done a little bit more strawberries, but I ended up being the only one who would eat them. Paul likes cheesecake filling, but not fruit. Daryl is not really one for cheesecake. Jake likes cheesecake and strawberries. He had a few of them, but I mean, how much of these can you really eat? So I had a few and he had a few, and then we were over them. But once they're filled, you're just going to go ahead and crush your graham cracker crumbs, because now you're going to use this to put on top of that little mixture so that it kind of gives you that cheesecake feel, like the crust of a cheesecake. So I actually just rolled down my bag and then dunked my strawberries in the top, so that the only part that stuck to it was the cheesecake part that was sticking out. And that was pretty much it, you guys. I have to say that I really loved these, and I'm glad that I made them, because I've eaten them before at places, but I've never actually made them myself. And this is perfect for a party. I know we're not all really throwing parties right now, but I feel like it has a super elegant touch. You could switch it up. You can put some, I was thinking cannoli. Could you imagine a cannoli batter with some chocolate chips inside of that strawberry? That sounds amazing. You can top it with a little bit of chocolate chips, like in those graham cracker crumbs, maybe even some shredded coconut. This is something you can do sweet for a friend or a family member or your partner for Valentine's Day. I just thought they were so easy, and I'm so glad that I actually just went ahead and did them. All right. This I'm totally excited to share, you guys, because I've made Rice Krispie treats like a million times over. I feel like, haven't we all, right? But this was like a switch to the common Rice Krispie treat. So this says cake batter Rice Krispies. It says, so you're too old for bake sales and it's not your birthday. These little squares of awesomeness are so easy to make, you'd need a damn good excuse not to make them this way. The cake batter gives them a superb flavor boost, while the sprinkles are a totally unexpected treat. So we literally need nothing different than we would use to make normal Rice Krispie treats, except sprinkles and confetti cake mix. So you're going to stick your marshmallows and your butter into a microwave safe bowl for 3 minutes. Now this part is tricky because you have to be ready to do this part really fast, because you don't want the marshmallows to start to cool. So you're going to stick a cup of the confetti cake mix into the butter and marshmallows. You can already tell I waited too long because I turned the camera on. It was hard. I had to have Paul hold the camera. I didn't want to set up my tripod, like, just to get everything whipped and incorporated together. I actually ended up, you guys didn't see it, but I stuck that back in the microwave and tried to get it pliable so that I could mix it and it wasn't too sticky. But then you're going to stick in a half a cup of sprinkles and mix that in, and then 6 cups of Rice Krispies, and then go ahead and mix that all together like you would any other Rice Krispie treat. And that was it. You're going to go ahead and press that into a 9x13 pan. You guys don't see that I actually topped it with a little bit more sprinkles on top, and I brought this to Marissa's daughter's birthday party. She turned 2 on 9/11, and so she did a little drive-by party, and so I did a drive-by and dropped these off, and I never got a final clip to share with you guys. So after I press it in the pan is the last that you guys see. But let me tell you, her husband ate almost the entire tray. He said he loves Rice Krispie treats, and he never thought of having them the cake way, like a confetti cake way, and he said they were the best. They did end up saving me a piece. We got to taste it. Holy cow, I thought that the cake mix upgraded the pancakes, but it did wonders to the Rice Krispie treat. So I highly suggest you guys try that as well. All right, we're on to our third and final dessert, and these are no-bake Reese's Cheesecakes. So I was excited to share this with you guys too. So this said, whoever said it's what's on the inside that counts was obviously talking about dessert. These miniature cheesecakes have a chocolate peanut buttery heart of gold at the core. And this, you guys, is all you need. Jell-O cheesecake mix, some Reese's peanut butter cups, some milk, and then some chocolate chips, which is optional. So I went ahead and just got out my 12 cup cupcake pan and put liners in there, and I put 10 to start, and then I put a Reese's peanut butter cup at the bottom of each one, and then I put that off to the side, and we made our mix, which I just took the Jell-O mix out of the box, added milk, and whisked it together. It was that simple. So I brought my pan back to the counter, and we were literally just going to pour our Jell-O mix right on top of these Reese's peanut butter cups. Now I filled all 8 spots because it said it called for 8. I I did find a 12-pack only of those Reese's peanut butter cups, so I already knew I had some extra. So once I went back and filled them all as much as I could, I still had batter. So I started with one, and then when I realized that I could do even more than that, I went ahead and added another one. So I did end up with 10 total after I did this mixture. And then once you're done with that, you're just going to go ahead and stick them in the refrigerator for 1 hour. And once the hour is done, we're just going to pull them back out. And then now it's the time to assemble our topping. So the Jell-O no-bake cheesecake already comes with your graham cracker crumbs already ground up in a little bag. It's step one of your no-bake Jell-O. So I just went ahead and sprinkled all of that on top, and then it tells you to top them with chocolate chips is optional. I think next time I would add them to the actual cheesecake mixture, because you really had to push them down into the cheesecake to make them thick. They had already congealed and they were hard. So if you didn't put the push down a little bit, then when you opened the wrapper, they would all fall off. So I think next time I would either put them in or push a little harder. But here's the finished result. There's the peanut butter cup at the bottom, and then our little cheesecake. Please excuse the plate. It's one of those ones that got destroyed from the dishwasher, but that does not change the flavor of that. That, you guys, was dynamite and super easy. Something you can do for anything. All right, we're on to a drink recipe now. Drink number one, and it's 2 ingredients, you guys. Captain Morgan spiced rum and coconut water. That is it. So this is called a coconut hydration tonic. It says if you're dieting, but you love to get wasted, this is the drink for you. You're basically fighting your hangover before it's even really started. So drink to your health. That is it. Now, this is actually the recipe that's suggested, using coconut milk in an ice cube tray and freezing it and using the coconut milk as your ice. And it said you would put the coconut ice cubes in first. I didn't have coconut milk when I made this recipe. I kind of missed that tip, but I just put regular ice. And that's my nugget ice from my nugget ice maker, you guys. I'll link up above my little tour and sharing with you guys this whole new ice maker, and I'm absolutely in love with it. But needless to say, I just used that ice, but they suggested doing the coconut milk. And you're just going to do 1 shot of the spiced rum, and you're going to pour that over your ice, and then you're going to do 1 cup of coconut water, and you're going to pour that over your rum. And that's it. So I do imagine if both of those things, the coconut water and the spiced rum, were at room temperature, they would melt that coconut milk ice cubes a little bit and give it a little bit more of a coconutty feel. But this tasted just like a liquid, watered down, not as thick pina colada, which is not my thing, but Paul drank the hell out of it. Not my thing. I don't like pina colada as much as I like coconut. If I'm drinking, this is what I'm drinking, you guys. I am a tequila girl, and I could drink a margarita all day, every day. I absolutely love them. And this says the Margarita Shake. So this says this is basically TGIF in a glass. The sorbet gives the margarita a creamier consistency than your average frozen margarita, as well as the perfect sweetness. So what we need for this recipe, you guys, is some lime sherbet. Let me tell you what a game changer that was. You're going to need some tequila, some triple sec, 2 limes, and then ice. They actually specifically say 4 ice cubes. I don't know about you guys, but I added that whole cup of ice cubes, and then I went back for more. I did not want this to be liquidy. If you say shake, I wanted that creamy consistency that she talked about. So you're going to start off by putting some tequila in the blender. The recipe calls for 8 ounces, but I'm a bartender by nature, so I just eyeballed. And then it calls for 4 ounces of a triple sec, so I went ahead and eyeballed that and put it in. And then now it calls for your ice, which again, I put in way more, and then I went back and added more. And then it said half of this container of lime sherbet. I probably could have done the whole container and then a little bit more ice, but I just decided to go with the half container and more ice. I wanted to stretch it in case we wanted to make more. And then you're going to go and add all of your limes in. So I gave each of the limes a good squeeze, and then I mixed it up. And as soon as I mixed it, I could already tell that it was a little too thin for me. So that, you can tell, is me going back and adding some more ice and kind of giving it more of a froth. But now you can see when it pours out that that is that creamy consistency that I was looking for. I could have used a better blender, but we were using what the house supplied. But no picky over blender, you guys. Look how creamy that is. And I had 2 of them along with a bunch of shots. Now, I liked this because it was not as cold as a frozen margarita, if that makes any sense. We used a bunch of ice and frozen sherbet, but the sherbet did exactly what they said, and it made it silky and creamy, where a frozen icy margarita is more like chunky ice, where this was silky and smooth. I don't know, I could not explain it. But here is the shots of tequila, and this is the first one we did, and we ended up doing 2 or 3 more. The 4 of us killed a bottle of Patron very, very quickly. That was not even the liquor that we used inside of that shake. So I went ahead and had a bunch of shots and those a couple of margarita shakes, and I was toasted. Thank God we had all of this food to pick on. But this is everything that we kind of put out. We did a whole charcuterie board with cheeses and meats and crackers. I made some guacamole that went extremely fast with some chips. We had some sausage and shrimp. I made some banana muffins. We weren't short of alcohol. We had, like I said, some Patron and some wine. Vanessa's mom brought pizza, and we also cut up some cucumbers. We had more fresh meats on the board, more cheeses. We weren't short of delicious food and drinks. That was for sure. This is the next morning. This was our array of breakfast, you guys. So whatever meats we had left over, we cooked those up. We did bacon, bread, those muffins. We put all the leftover fruit together. We made scrambled eggs. We put the leftover cheese out. We put the leftover nuts out. Like I said, we were not hurting for delicious food on this trip. That's for sure. Put a bunch of girls together who love to cook, and this is what we came up with. Now here's our little tour of the place. This was the upstairs living room. This place was actually 3 stories. I had never stayed in a place like this, and this was the very top story. So the living room and the kitchen was on the top story, and it had a wraparound patio on every floor, which I thought was amazing. So this is the very top floor, like I said, and it just overlooked everything. Like, that is what we're looking at straight ahead, is the water. Like, it was that close to the beach. All the houses over there looked very well kept. The area was very well kept. You can tell they're still building. They're literally building another one right next to this place, and it was the perfect place to just kind of wake up every morning and relax. And so here's a little tour of the kitchen. That's the corner where I just made that drink, but very swanky for a beach house. I feel like a lot of beach houses that I've stayed in, it's more about going to the beach than the house. But for here, this was like the best of both worlds. So this was the room that Nicole and I stayed in. I just loved the beachy feel. And then we had a bathroom right here. This was us getting ready to leave. By the way, I kind of said, oh man, I never gave a tour. Let me do this before we're walking out the door. So like I said, that was the top floor. So now we're coming down to the second floor, and here's where all the rest of the bedrooms were. So everything was so beautifully decorated. I love places like that. So this was the room that Vanessa's mom stayed in, and every one of these bedrooms on the second floor have a door out to that balcony that's on the second floor, which I didn't walk you guys out onto, but it's the same thing, just a floor lower. But she had an in-suite bathroom in there, which was, you know, this house, like I said, was set up so beautifully. Here was the bathroom that Vanessa shared with her brother's girlfriend. And then here is the room that Vanessa stayed in. Again, this is another one of those rooms that had a door to the access to that back patio, which I thought was so awesome. Literally everybody in the house could get to that back patio on the outside, which I thought was really, really cool, except this room, which this room was set up to be the kids' room. This is where Maisie stayed. And obviously you wouldn't want your kids to be able to get out onto that patio at the end of the night. But they have a washing machine and dryer here for your own usage, which I thought was awesome. And then now we go downstairs to the third floor, where there is a mudroom for storage, like of your beach stuff. There's another bathroom down here, and then another storage closet. So I just grabbed my shoes on my way out the door, and then look how beautiful, you guys. Like, just the sun was out everywhere. That's the little dune buggy that they give you to drive. It's like a golf cart, but something you would almost have on tour if you were going through like a safari or something, and that's actually me driving it. This is me driving home from dinner. When we went out to dinner, I said, oh, I drive the golf cart with Daryl all the time. I got this, girls. And so I drove the golf cart. But this, you guys, was a lot of fun. All right, you guys, I don't know if you can even hear me because the wind is so crazy, but I needed to show you this. So since there's a tropical storm coming into the Gulf, I have never seen what I am seeing right now as far as the tide. It's like the wind and the water are battling and they are so confused. Do you see that it almost looks like in certain spots, it almost looks like a tidal wave. Like, look what it's doing to the sand. Like, Mother Nature is so amazing. Like, the water is going one way and the wind is rushing in another way, and it's like I'm mesmerized. I'm standing here and I'm staring at the dirt and the way that I'm just watching it form all these transformations in the ground because of the water. It is just like, as hell, it is so confused. Everybody is, the water is like angry and confused, and look at the waves, you guys. Absolutely insane. Not to mention that I've never felt warmer water. Like, I went to the Dominican in the middle of Hurricane Sandy, and I still don't remember the water being this warm. Like, it is just, it's so incredible, but I'm mesmerized. I can't get out of it. I don't go in the water. Like, this is not my thing. But I keep walking out further and further and further because I'm so mesmerized by watching everything. I'm just watching the way look at that right there. Look at how it's like, it's so confused. It's like creating its own little like whirlpool or tidal, I don't know. I never saw anything like this. It's just, I'm so blown away. Mother Nature, like I said, is just so amazing. And this, you guys, is the close of my dessert and booze hacks, as well as some bonus footage of our little trip. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. If you guys are new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and tap the bell. I do share one of these dessert and booze hacks every month here on the channel, and I really enjoy them. I have so much fun. I've learned so much from Peggy Wang, and I continue to keep saying that because I love to be educated. None of us know everything, right? We can learn something new every day, and the kitchen is my happy place. So I love being able to learn something new every single time that I open up that book, and she really does that for me. So like I said, I share one of these every single month. I do not always have beach footage to attach to that. This is just, like I said, a little bonus for this time, but again, I hope you guys enjoyed a little taste into our trip. Make sure you check out those girls. They will be linked in the description box. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I love you guys all so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.